Are you and your child fully immunized? If not, visit the nearest health center and be sure to bring along your immunization card. It's World Immunization Week, and we are seeking to raise awareness on the importance of getting life-saving vaccines which can prevent various diseases. Hello and thanks for joining us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. The news and much more is on the other side of this short break. Stay with us.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Monday, April 24. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will be taking a closer look at the management and approval process for development in the country as it seeks to reduce the impact of severe weather conditions. The Prime Minister's statement comes in response to the flooding caused by heavy rainfall over the weekend. Following a preliminary briefing on the impact of the heavy rain Sunday morning, Mr. Holness says it is clear that the existing drains in the country were not built to accommodate the large volume of water from the 2 days of rainfall. Going forward, he says a program must be developed to expand and manage the country's infrastructure. In the meantime, the Prime Minister says government will continue to help persons who have been impacted by the heavy rains. Clarendon, Portland, and St. Thomas have reported instances of flooding. 500 commercial and residential National Water Commission customers in and around Port Antonio are to benefit from a new sewerage system. A contract worth over $1 billion has been signed to facilitate the construction, which should be completed in the next 16 months. It represents Stage 2 of the Port Antonio Water, Sewerage and Drainage Project and is being funded through an Inter-American Development Bank (IDB) loan. Portfolio Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the new system will help to reduce groundwater contamination and enhance Port Antonio's image as a tourism haven.
Putting in this infrastructure is designed to provide a foundation on which we can build out the town itself and ensure that the environment is protected and maintained in pristine form.
Government's drive to increase engagement with the diaspora has resulted in the establishment of a dedicated department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Portfolio Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says the Diaspora Department will allow for a more focused and effective engagement of Jamaicans living overseas.
Furthermore, in order to explore feasibility of proposals and to operationalize the Economic Growth Council's call to action in respect of harnessing the diaspora, we have established, in conjunction with the EGC, the Diaspora Engagement Task Force. And this task force is chaired by a member of our diaspora, Dr. David Panton.
The Health Ministry has received 6 ambulances under the European Union-funded Program for the Reduction of Maternal and Child Mortality, PROMAC. The program is being implemented with a grant of over 22 million euros or more than 3 billion Jamaican dollars.
Today, we are attempting under the PROMAC program, with the tremendous assistance of the European Union, to improve our capacity to respond, and particularly in the area of logistics, moving persons from one institution to the next in order to give them the best quality care.
The ambulances will help with referrals and benefit all 4 health regions, going specifically to Chapelton, Alexandria, Mandeville Regional, Onoto Bay, and Savannah Lamar hospitals. One is also going to the St. Jago Park Health Center. At the handing over ceremony, PROMAC pins were also presented to 36 healthcare workers who received training in how to operate and utilize the units. The National Works Agency is appealing for the public's patience and cooperation with the new traffic changes on Mandela Highway. On Saturday, the 2 eastbound lanes of the highway between the Highway 2000 off-ramp and the Ferry Police Station were closed to facilitate drainage work and the lifting of that section of the corridor. The eastbound traffic has been shifted to occupy 2 lanes on the southern side of these lanes, allowing them to continue on their eastbound journey. Those motorists traveling from Kingston towards Spanish Town have been diverted to two newly created adjacent lanes.
This will obtain until we are able until we have completed the work on the Fresh River Bridge. At that point, we will then put traffic over that bridge, and the motoring public would have been experiencing a bit of what the new Mandela Highway will feel like.
The new traffic arrangements should be in place for the next 4 months. And finally, the Montego University College will be focusing on crime and violence and its impact on society when the school hosts its 2017 Research Day this Wednesday, April 26. The event will be held on the Montego campus under the theme Education Reimagined Toward a Solution for Crime and Violence. Montego's president, Dr. Asburn Pinnock, says the aim is to have stakeholders discuss the role that education plays in dismantling crime.
We are playing our role at the Montego University College, and we believe that we have to look at it from a scientific perspective, from a research base.
Dr. Pinnock was speaking during a recent JIS think tank. He revealed that the Montego Research Day 2017 will have practitioners and researchers from all levels of the education system sharing their experiences, research and findings to craft solutions to common challenges. JDF Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Rocky Meade, will be the guest speaker. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Catch up on the latest happenings in the office of the Prime Minister next.
Government developing program to expand and manage the country's infrastructure. National Partnership Council names 3 subcommittees and contract signed for $1 billion sewage project in Port Antonio. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will be taking a closer look at the management and approval process for developments on the island. This after receiving preliminary reports Sunday on the effects of 2 days of rain which lashed the country. The Prime Minister says reports show that flooding across several communities is as a result of the inability of the island's drain network to handle the large volumes of water associated with the weather system. Mr. Holness, meanwhile, has mobilized the National Works Agency and state agencies in parishes impacted by the heavy rains, namely Clarendon, Portland and St. Thomas. On Thursday, the Prime Minister co-chaired a meeting of the National Partnership Council, where the members of 3 working groups were named. They are the working group committees to deal with rule of law and justice reform, violence against women and children, and the environment. Howard Mitchell chairs the Rule of Law and the Reform of the Justice System Committee. Dr. Marcia Forbes helms the working group dealing with gender-based violence, while Diana Macaulay chairs the Environment Group. The groups are expected to prepare periodical reports which will provide recommendations for each area of focus. And while at the National Partnership Council meeting, Prime Minister Holness shared that baseline work for the Special Security Operation Zones have started, even as the legislation goes through Parliament. He says the police commissioner has been instructed to begin the process of identifying members of the force who can act as area commanders so that they can receive adequate training in human rights, the powers they will have, and how to act in their zones.
We are taking a 360-degree view of the entire Jamaican landscape, our economy, our society, and our infrastructure, all with a view towards sustainable development.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness welcoming the new air traffic control tower at the Norman Manley International Airport last Wednesday. The $10 million Canadian tower is part of government's air navigation modernization program to enhance safety, efficiency, and reliability of its air navigation services.
We can't have development happening in a lopsided way. We can't have development happening in some areas and then other areas are neglected. So the good fiscal management of public resources require that the government ensures that whatever funds that are under the public domain, under public management, are available for the whole development of government.
By Wednesday afternoon, Prime Minister Holness was in Manchester to unveil the restored Curfew home for former Army men and women. The home currently accommodates 13 residents, most of whom are over 70 years old. The project is part of initiatives under the National Housing Trust's 40th anniversary. Other partners include the Jamaica Defence Force and the Jamaica Legion.
We owe them our freedom. We must practice kindness and we must lead by example. We must be each other's keeper. We must show how much we love our beloved country, Jamaica, by loving our neighbors and loving those who labored for us.
With the renovations, the Curfew home can now house 35 residents. In the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, a contract was signed for the second phase of the Port Antonio Water, Sewage and Drainage Project in Portland. Worth just over $1 billion, the 16-month project will see to the construction of a sewage plant to serve the entire Port Antonio area. 500 residential and commercial properties are expected to be impacted. Minister without portfolio Dr. Horace Chang says the initiative will protect the environment while accommodating the expansion of the town as a tourism haven.
Objective is therefore to reduce contamination of the groundwater in the Port Antonio area, improve service levels to customers in the Anchovy Gardens community, improve the quality of life for the citizens of Port Antonio and surrounding environment, replace and upgrade the malfunctioning wastewater treatment plant at Anchovy, ensure that the treatment of a sewage received by the Anchovy wastewater treatment plant is within the acceptable levels prescribed by our environmental regulators, NEPA and the Ministry of Health, so as to minimize any adverse impact on the environment and any risk to public health.
The project is being undertaken by the National Water Commission with loan funding from the Inter-American Development Bank. And that's it for this week's Jamaica House Weekly. We return next time with more of the news coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
We Jamaicans are a hard-working set of people, and we at the JIS know this. That's why after a hard day's work, you can simply pop onto our website, jis.gov.jm, and be in the know with government news and information. JIS, your information hub.
Artists, dancers, songwriters, protect your work from copycats and secure your intellectual property. The Intellectual Property Rights Law guards the rights of owners of creative works in the scientific, industrial, literary, artistic, musical, and dramatic fields. It covers several areas. Protect your net worth, protect your legacy, build Jamaica's creative and industrial industry. For more details on protecting your creative expression, contact the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
This week we observe Intellectual Property Week 2017 under the theme Innovation, Improving Lives. The Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, has several events planned. For more information, visit jipo.gov.jm. The Office of the Contractor General is hosting a week-long conference which brings together the region's most senior personnel tasked with addressing corruption and upholding standards of integrity. The Commonwealth Caribbean Association of Integrity Commissions and Anti-Corruption Bodies Conference started today and ends this Friday, April 28. Hear more from Contractor General Dirk Harrison.
We celebrate this moment that has been facilitated through the Commonwealth Secretariat. This is the third occasion that we have met. We met first in Grenada, and then last year in Trinidad, and now we're in Jamaica. It's a very important initiative that persons such as agencies as the Office of the Contractor General and our regional partners can meet, greet, share best practices, and importantly, see ways in which we can develop our own systems and programs, the betterment of our own countries. Because it's not just about collecting data or on a daily basis determining what happens, is more so how do we actually investigate, how do we actually share information, how do we gather information. So it is a practical exercise that we have sought through the facilitation, once again kindly, of the Commonwealth Secretariat, to ensure that we have a package and we have a number of partners on board that we can share best practices and learn from each other.
If we look at the world indices in terms of good governance and the fight against corruption, the Commonwealth countries are doing far better than non-Commonwealth countries around the world. If you go to Africa, the top countries who are doing very well are our Commonwealth countries. You go to Asia, the same thing. In terms of the CPI, Transparency International CPI, you mentioned, the top countries like New Zealand, Australia, they are all Commonwealth countries, Canada. Yeah. So it means the Commonwealth has something good because we share values of democracy, good governance, peace, accountability. Accountability means that fighting corruption. What Commonwealth seeks to do, because if you look at the expanse of the countries involved and the spread of it, that means that Commonwealth cannot have its own agenda. But rather what we do is that we help member countries to promote their own agendas. The idea of bringing all the countries' institutions together, anti-corruption agencies, it can be integrity commissions, anti-corruption bodies, FIU, financial authorities, whatever. So long as they are all in the area of anti-corruption, including police, law enforcement agents, bring them together to share ideas. The ideas are in two levels. The first here is within the country. So within the country, you could see around the table, they are all in Jamaica, different institutions working separately but to one common goal of dealing with corruption or promoting good governance. Bring them to share ideas. Then the next year, bring the countries within the region together. They may have best practices that they may want to share among each other.
Want to know the law pertaining to renting a house? What about the procedure if you're arrested? Or what is defined as corruption? Then click on the Ministry of Justice website. It has information on every law passed in Jamaica. The House of Parliament portal also has the more recent year's pieces of legislation. The sites are easy to search and the files are downloadable. Make access to justice your business. Know your rights.
It's been 11 months.
7 years. 12 years.
Since I became the most important person in the world.
It's a big responsibility for know, say, her future is in our hands.
I have to tell him and show him that he is my number one. I want to prepare them for life's journey. So as them grow, them know the difference between right and wrong.
I gotta make sure some keep him out of bad company. Cause if I don't raise him right, the streets are gonna raise him. I feel, she feel.
If me stumble, him fall, knowing I'm responsible for their future and they're responsible for Jamaica's future.
So I won't give up or allow her to quit. I'm going to make sure I'm safe on the straight and narrow.
Me prefer to tell them no now than watch them regret it later.
Because to the world, I'm just another person. But to my child, I'm the whole wide world.
Next Monday is the start of one of the most important months in the calendar. Why is it so important, you ask? It's the time of year we shine the spotlight on our most precious jewels, our children. This Child Month is being observed under the theme, Take Action, Break the Chain of Abuse Against Children.
13-year-old Brittany Bradbury is missing. She was last seen along Spanish Town Road in Kingston. Brittany is slim, has a dark complexion, and is about 5 feet 2 inches tall. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing a dark blue blouse and blue skirt. While speaking with Fairway News, Brittany's mother, Simonia, had this message for her daughter.
I want Brittany Bradbury to know that Mommy loves her and I want her to come home back. So Mommy and Daddy, we are begging you, please to come back home. We need you, we love you, we're not going to hurt you. We want to try and make things work for you.
Fortunately for Simonia and her family, Brittany was found. She's among the 9 out of 10 missing children who are reunited with their families each year. Now, we see these stories as they play out in the media and often wonder what has become of these missing children, not knowing the army of agencies that work overtime to rescue them.
This used to be my playground. This used to be my childhood dream.
The Office of the Children's Registry, OCR, is the agency responsible for coordinating the safe recovery of children who go missing. The OCR collects data on and refers cases of child abuse to the Child Development Agency and the Office of the Children's Advocate for investigation and action. In addition to training search and recovery personnel, the OCR has partnered with the Library Service to disseminate information on missing children.
We have signed Memorandum of Understanding with the Ministry of Transport Works and Housing in terms of collaboration with the JUTC buses, and we have signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Ministry of Environment Climate Change in terms of we're going to be using spatial data from the Spatial Data Unit.
But the most important tool in its arsenal is the Ananda Alert System.
The administrative aspect of the Ananda Alert System is also now operated by the Office of the Children's Registry since the 1st of March 2013. The Ananda Alert System is a nationwide system which seeks to have children who would have gone missing or reported missing within 24 hours or less. So we try to ensure that all information as it regards to their whereabouts, their location, their description is disseminated island-wide.
As soon as a parent cannot account for their child's whereabouts, then they're able to make a report to the police station or to the registry by calling 1-888-PROTECT. And an Ananda alert is then activated and a risk assessment done to determine if it is a case where it is very high risk or the risk is more minimal. At that point, if the report is received by the registry, within 30 minutes of receipt it is dispatched to the Corporate Communications Unit and the Missing Person Monitoring Unit, and from there the interactions and investigation will begin.
The Ananda Alert System would not work as efficiently as it does without the support of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. There is a dedicated missing persons monitoring unit in the JCF.
When someone is reported missing at a station, this information is sent to CCU immediately. Once confirmed with the local station, an immediate release is done and this is sent out.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force also has other branches that are active participants in the search and recovery efforts. They include the Corporate Communication Unit, the CCU, the National Intelligence Bureau, NIB, and the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, CISOCA.
The Police 119 Emergency Center plays a big role because what they do, they take this information and further disseminate it through the police network. So all police formations and divisions are made aware of this missing person. Along with that, you have the National Intelligence Bureau, who further does correlation, intelligence gathering around this missing person, investigation, as well as alerting other partners regionally and internationally of this missing person.
Once a child is recovered, the work of the team doesn't end. The next step in the process is restoration.
Once a child is located, then we do a follow-up in counseling and social intervention from the Child Development Agency. If we do have issues with the Ministry of Education, specific schools not wanting to take back that child because the child would have been out for a period of time, we do work together to see how we can get back that child to continue their education.
The Child Development Agency plays an integral role in getting to the root cause of why the children go missing in the first place. And it's a need that the OCR registrar knows all too well.
I was also physically abused within my home, and through that, at age 15, I ran away from home for approximately 1 week. I don't think at age 15, when I ran away from home, it was a result that I was naturally bad. But in fact, I was then running away from the condition that I considered unsuitable for children to really grow in. It is going to be important that we hear what is happening, and first of all is to address the situation that could have caused them, one, to think why they want to leave the home, why is it that they don't want to return, and how is it that we can prevent such occurrence.
Though the team working to return missing children to their homes or a place of safety have recorded several successes, their work is still unfinished. Amendments have been made to the Child Care and Protection Act. Harsher penalties have been prescribed for persons who murder, rape, and commit other serious violent offenses against children. And the child abuse cases will be fast-tracked in the court system. That achievement is strengthened with the implementation of a case management system which allows the OCR and the CDA to share information through a web-based system. The system also tracks children's development in the child care system from entry to exit.
We have developed our first search and rescue protocol, in which we have developed over 3,000 protocols for missing children. The dissemination has been going extremely well. We have disseminated to all our children's homes, all the schools that we have visited for school tours, and we're going to be continuing to distribute those 3,000 plus search and rescue protocol.
The publication of the search and rescue protocol serves to be very helpful, because in the event, for instance, that we suspect that a child was abducted and there is going to be a planned search by the police, then we have trained search and rescue volunteers who can assist in the safe and speedy recovery of that child.
The JCF has also been making moves in child care and protection with the introduction of the Stay Alert app.
This sends alert to persons who are utilizing the Stay Alert. So you get an immediate alert that someone is missing, the area, all that information that you need, along with the photograph.
All of these initiatives, however, will bear no fruit if you and I don't get involved. If you know or suspect that a child is being abused, act. Call the police, call the OCR, or message the JCF on its new app. The care and protection of our children is everybody's business.
This used to be my playground. This used to be my childhood dream. This used to be the place.
And that's where we sign off on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. We return right around this time tomorrow, so be sure to tune in then. You're also able to access our content 24/7 online. We have a trusted website, an information-packed YouTube channel, as well as social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.